The question of if GMOs are really as bad as they seem has been a hotly debated topic throughout all of history. One of the big, more prevalent to modern day with all the genetically engineering products that have been put on shelves and have been introduced into our breeding and food industries. But still, they have been seen throughout history, all the way to the beginning of agricultural timestamps, with the fact that there was crossbreeding of different plants and creating better organisms from that. Now, right now, as in modern day, there has been a lot of different sides to this. There is the negative side. Are GMOs really as good as they are? Do they cause cancer? Do they cause these certain things? Or there's a positive side. Do they increase productivity? Do they increase health? Do they increase the availability of food for a massive population such as ours? And that is a very hotly debated topic right now. Most people see GMOs as a positive thing, but there still are others that see them as negatives. But before we get to that, I want to explain what exactly GMOs are. Firstly, as by the name, most people can draw the conclusion that GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and in that word, it's genetically modified. Genetically modified organisms are pretty much just organisms that are manipulated by scientists when they go into the genome of an organism, and they manipulate it to impact productivity, to impact the size, to impact how easily it can defend itself against other natural disasters or other natural occurrences that could decrease its efficiency. Now, back to the negatives and the positives of these. One of the biggest negative outlooks on GMOs is the fact that we are meddling in something that is not supposed to be meddled with. Humans alike, all of us have found value in a higher power who oversees everything below us and has made everything as perfect it could be. Most people see this as an ethical issue because, again, they're meddling in something they're not supposed to because it is made the way it is supposed to be. The question being, how much gene editing is acceptable and where exactly is the limit to this gene therapy, just gene editing? Because if it's already incorporated into our food supply and our breeding programs that we have, how far will it go? Will it develop into a human genome project, which we still have today, or is it going to get to something bigger where we can edit our offspring and other features about future humans? The biggest way most people have been trying to regulate the usage of this type of product is by legally obligating most companies to label whether or not a product contains genetically modified ingredients. An example would be these rye chips that I've been snacking on. They're very good, and even though they don't seem to have anything in them or anything about them entirely about being genetically modified, on the back here it says, in the ingredients part, it says it contains bioengineered food ingredients. Obviously that means that one of the ingredients used, one of the 500,000 that they list back here, one of them is going to have some sort of genome editing by a scientist or someone that wanted to grow something a certain way. Another example would be these flax seeds. This company, Simply Nature, I'm pretty sure, focuses a lot on having completely natural products and no genetically modification, no meddling in the genome of the plant. And as you can see here, it says non-GMO project verified, meaning obviously no GMOs involved in the making of this product. Upon further research into the negative views of GMOs, one of the biggest things that stood out was a researcher who claimed that incorporating genetically modified organisms into our everyday life, or modernizing it, would increase the likelihood of eugenics becoming another big thing in today's society. Eugenics is pretty much the belief that there is a one and single pure bloodline, and anything that is besides that bloodline is impure and should not breed or should not be able to further themselves. A huge example of this would be the Holocaust, in which Hitler was able to gather a huge group of people that he disagreed with and saw them as impure and not pure, like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and killed them off, trying to exterminate them. Continuing on, there's also many positives with having GMOs. One is that it provides a financial gain for many countries that are less fortunate, that don't have the ability to access different industries that would allow them to have a surplus of money. Having GMOs would allow them to not only grow food for their own population, but able to have a surplus in order to export out to different other countries that could pay them for it. Other advantages would be that it provides food security for the rest of the world, meaning it would allow us to have more efficiency out of a single product instead of just what a natural product would have. It would enable us to have products that, or GMOs, that are able to adapt to the climate change and the current climate that is changing. We would also have an ability to stabilize different environments that aren't able to have specific products in different areas. Lastly, when considering my opinion on what GMOs are and how the effects of them, I personally think that GMOs are probably a very beneficial aspect of human research and human innovation. I think that in order to have GMOs, it allows us to, again, have food security. It allows us to adapt to different changes in our climate. It also gives us the fact that we have more food for an ever-growing, exponentially growing population. And in any effort to improve the longevity of humans in general, I think that it is definitely something that we should use and research more to produce better results. I also agree with the fact that GMOs are definitely something that can be overused, can be taken advantage of, but if it is regulated properly and if we can figure out a limit to the amount of modification that we can do on a specific gene, I think that it will definitely prove to be beneficial in the long run.